What's up, guys? As you can tell from the title, this is pretty much how Batman v Superman should have went down, and this is my pitch for how it should have went down. And this is a current, hot, and controversial topic of discussion that, as a comic book fan and a comic book movie fan, has a tendency to get me really fired up. So naturally, for this video, alcohol is required. Cheers to the new Batman. He was Batfleck was the best part of that fucking movie. Ah, Jameson, you swine. Anyway, so for my pitch, basically goes a little something like this. Now, in Batman v Superman, the film should have picked up with Superman working hand in hand with the government due to the cataclysmic events of Man of Steel. That were clearly his fault. And he's kind of guilt-tripped into doing this, and he's, you know, sort of reluctantly working with the government, but not really, because he really feels responsible for what happened. So there we have Superman working with the government. And we have the government making a deal and striking a partnership with LexCorp. And Lex Luthor, who in this film, I know a lot of people had problems with Jesse Eisenberg. I didn't particularly have as many problems with him as most people did. But in this film, I would have went Heisenberg instead of Eisenberg. And we would have this Lex Luthor working very close with the one Silas Stone. And they're going to be working on, you know, kind of deconstructing and figuring out the technology that was in the Kryptonian ship and the wreckage for, you know, after the battle of General Zod and Superman in the last film. And so Superman's duties with the government, he's informed that there are other metahumans out there who have powers and are similar to him, and they need to be put in check. Sort of Civil War-y, but I'm rolling with it here. I was rolling with it when I came up with it. And so, you know, he's informed that there are other good guys out there with powers. There are bad guys out there. And, you know, we are introduced to a young Flash. Now, Ezra Miller is my age. He's 23 years old, and he's a kid. So, he has these powers, and we're introduced to Flash kind of tearing up Central City during a battle with Jai Courtney's Captain Boomerang. Now, Superman intervenes, and he lets Flash know, like, hey, like, we need to kind of be really in touch with the government, and we need to be put in check, and we need to have restraint. And, you know, being an unchecked vigilante operating in this world, just, it's not going to cut it anymore. And the Flash, who, like I said, is young, he's in awe of Superman. He's starstruck by Superman and obviously complies. And Captain Boomerang gets taken away, and that's it. And then we move on. We're introduced to Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, who I think it should be the same Bruce Wayne that we were introduced to in Batman v Superman. And he's retired, and he's recovering from Robin's death by the Joker, and he slowly is starting to come out of retirement because there are these gangs in Gotham who have taken over, and Gotham is pretty much at its worst, so he doesn't really have a choice but to come out of retirement. And that's when we get, you know, Superman and these conflicting ideologies between these two titans that starts right at the beginning of the movie. You have Superman and Batman introducing one another to each other, becoming familiar with one another. And they have conflicting ideologies, conflicting morals, and you have Superman giving several warnings to Batman, like, look, like, you're an unchecked vigilante, and you are not operating under any government influence, and you can't do this. Like, you can't, and I have to enforce the fact that you can't, and if you continue to do so, things are kind of gonna go south for you. So then we cut to our new Joker, played by Jared Leto, who is in an insane asylum. He's in rehab, and he is being his psychiatrist is who could it be? Dr. Harleen Quinzel. And he's slowly kind of manipulating her while at the same time convincing her that he's okay and he's better. And anybody who's ever read a comic with the Joker in it knows that he's the clown prince of crime. He is merciless, he's a psycho, and he's the master of manipulation. And that's why he's my favorite villain of all time. But anyway, he also convinces the world that he's better, and he gets released. And this is when he turns Dr. Quinzel into Harley. She goes full Harley. And they start raining terror down on Gotham. So now you have the Joker's out. He's got Harley. These gangs of Gotham. They're it's a shit show. So Batman really doesn't have a choice, and he anticipates Superman kind of coming and yeah. So then we go back to Silas Stone and Lex Luthor, who are operating this Kryptonian ship. Now this would we'd be able to be introduced to the mother boxes and not be confused as all shit. And that would be a great way to introduce that. It would be a great way to introduce not Cyborg, but Vic Stone, and expand upon the relationship, the broken and severed relationship between him and his father, because his father is too invested in this work. And the conflict between Silas and Lex could build as they're working on this Kryptonian ship together, and Silas kind of gets a bad vibe with Lex and slowly starts to discover that Lex has an ulterior motive in working on this Kryptonian wreckage. And you know, we have all these great elements that could fit into a story, and it still wouldn't be oversaturated. So continuing on, you know, we basically would have something take place at the end where Batman and Superman would have to unite. An accident occurs, causing Vic Stone to be severely injured, if not injured, killed, and that would lead to Silas using the mother boxes and the Kryptonian technology to turn him into Cyborg, setting him up to be a hero that would eventually join the Justice League. So far in this film, we have the Joker, we have Harley Quinn, we have Batman, we have Superman, we have Cyborg, we have Lex Luthor, and we have a lot of we have the Flash cameo, Captain Boomerang cameo, and the stuff with the Flash, or with Captain Boomerang and with the Joker. Like when that arc ends in this movie, it sort of could lead into Suicide Squad, which we're getting in August, and they would all tie together, and it would be amazing, right? Right? I'm gonna have a sip of wine here. I'm getting fired up, but unfortunately, things didn't play out that way. But yeah, in a part of this pitch, you know, at the end, I love the scene where Batman comes in costume to Lex's cell, and he threatens him, and Lex says, like, now if we had Heisenberg as Lex, I am the one who rang the bell. I rang the bell, and he's coming. Ding, 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 ding. He's coming, Batman. Like, that would be brilliant. And, you know, I wanted this movie to be great. I really did. I love the soundtrack, bought the soundtrack. I'm going to buy it when it comes out. It's a historical landmark of the movie for nerds, but it just was a letdown. It was an extreme letdown. It was a discombobulated mess. I enjoyed some of it, but unfortunately the cons outweigh the pros. But like in this pitch, when Batman and Superman finally fight, there's been that build-up throughout the entire film, so when they fight, you feel something. You have an emotional connection that these two are fighting. You have an emotional connection to these characters, which wasn't present in the movie. And my buddy who didn't see it talked to somebody who did see it, and he said, you know, this is a movie with all orgasm and no foreplay. So, and I can agree with that. So with this, you have the main focus being Batman and Superman, which it should and have always should have been Batman and Superman. That should have been the main focus altogether. Also, no Doomsday, no Wonder Woman, Yeah, I said it. Wonder Woman's got a movie coming next year. Why do we need her in this movie? We don't. We would already know that metahumans exist. So, like, even though Flash and Cyborg and they're all in this, we know that Aquaman's out there. We know that Wonder Woman's out there. And we know that they're coming. So, and we also know from Lex that Darkseid is coming. And all we need are words. We don't need to see these cameos and like even logos were designed with the Lex flash drive, fucking whatever. But we don't need that. I mean, at the end of Iron Man, the post-credit scene, not to be a Marvel fanboy, like, I love DC too. I really, really wanted to walk out of this movie and just tweet Zack Snyder and just be like, dude, thank you. You did it. I wanted this movie to be great. I did. But it wasn't. It just wasn't. And, you know, all you need, like I said, at the end of Iron Man, the post-credit scene, hey, Tony, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. And people went fucking ballistic. But nowadays, 8 years later in 2016, us nerds, when it comes to movies, man, we're spoiled. We really are. We're spoiled. We're coddled. We're so used to getting everything that we want. And, you know, sometimes I think less is more. And all Batman had to say to Superman, because obviously in this version that I'm talking about, Wonder Woman isn't involved, all he had to say was like, look, like, I talked to Lex. He said some fucked up shit. We better contact these other metahumans through Facebook, because I think, you know, within the next year or so, we're all going to have to fight, and we're going to have to defend this planet, and we're going to have to give them everything we got. That's all that needed to be said. Like, maybe we should form a league of sorts. A league of justice. I don't know. Fuck. But overall, that's my pitch. That's, you know, have Silas Stone play a very important part, introduce Vic Stone, have a Flash cameo, have the main focus be on Batman and Superman, with Lex not having so much of an influence over the fucking fight, because that's just lazy. And, you know, don't have Doomsday, not needed, waste of a great villain. Don't have Wonder Woman. We already know her, she's been cast, she's getting a movie, fine, great. This movie is about Batman and Superman, and at the same time, if done right, can set up the Justice League. And, you know, that's, and introduce your new Joker, introduce Harley, because they have a movie coming out this summer. And, you know, give him a let us see what Jared Leto can do. Let us see what Margot Robbie can do, and get us excited for Suicide Squad, you know? And, like, also, this isn't much of a pitch. This is just me tweaking certain things that's already in a book and a movie called The Dark Knight Returns. These people who made Batman v Superman had two forms of media to use as a blueprint for this movie, and they tossed it out the window because they gotta catch up with Marvel. Missed opportunity. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but it was, to me, it was a 3-year build-up. The hype train was too full. I mean, it was a missed opportunity. And I think that if they would have went in the direction of The Dark Knight Returns, or in the direction that I'm talking about, it would have been amazing. I mean, I know super fangirl Grace Randolph, with her 500,000 subscribers, compared Zack Snyder to Stanley Kubrick. She hailed this movie as a revelation. She talked about that piss jug scene and said that it was one of the best sequences she's ever seen in a movie in the past fucking decade. Well, good for her. Anyway, and if you're wondering why my middle finger is red like that, it's due to the fact that I've been eating hot Cheetos. I gave them up for Lent. I haven't eaten them in over 50 days, and it's the weekend. Diet's out the window. Fuck it. I've been chowing down and drinking wine. So, anyway, guys, that's my spiel. How would you have went about making Batman v Superman? Let me know in the comment section below. Leave me paragraphs upon paragraphs to read. I love it. I love YouTube. Love all my subscribers. I love the people that I've met on YouTube so far. It's a really great community, the BlueTube community. I'm honored to be a part of it. And yeah, let me know. Did you like Batman v Superman? Did you hate it? Why did you like it? Why did you hate it? What were your favorite parts of it? And obviously, what do you think of my pitch? And how would you go about have gone about doing Batman v Superman differently? But anyway, guys, please like the video, please leave a comment, please subscribe, and until next time, this is Movies and That. Have a great weekend.